Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to go back into disturbing things from around the internet. We're super close to being done with this series, and then we can start moving on to other things. Because that's what I want to do. I just want to knock this out and then move on to other things. Even find things out on my own and then make videos on that too. It sounds really exciting to do. But anyway, we're going back into this one. It had the picture of a tornado, and I hate tornadoes. I always have ever since I was a kid, so... Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, we got like one more, maybe two more if disturbing things, then it goes to darkest media, and then we're just like, oh boy, we just want to get it done, but they're going to be an hour long going into those, so. Oops. Alright, here we go. What's that intro? It's different though. Love it.
The internet can be a grim place. Surely you don't need someone like me to tell you that. Videos, live streams, works of art, posts, and pages about disturbing events that have happened in our reality are nothing but a Google search away. Underneath the no commentary long plays and the fast lane truck drag racing videos exists a vast ocean of eerie content that'll surely get you thinking, and just might keep you up at night. Welcome back to Disturbing Things, your one-stop shop for bite-sized, eerie finds that I've recently discovered online. This is episode 12, so if this is your first exposure to this series, be sure to head over to the playlist down below for hours of further content to envelop yourself into.
I'm going to say it more. I'm going to say it like, as many times as I make these videos. I also have a playlist for me reacting to all of these videos on my channel if you guys want to check out that playlist.
Without further ado, it's time, once again, to dive into 5 more hand-picked and disturbing things from around the internet.
You cut me off. Eerie music. Do I really need these on? I mean, it would be helpful for you guys, I'm sure, but... Content in this video is disturbing and may upset some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. You've been warned. Everywhere at the end of time.
Let's set the mood. On the internet.
Is he taking me on a date? Nexpo, you trying to take me on a date or something? I'll gladly say yes, you're a very handsome man. Because that came on a little bit too strong, but hey, I'm all here for it.
There exists an album by the name of Everywhere at the End of Time. It was created in 2016 by a musical artist named James Leyland Kirby, also known by his stage name, The Caretaker. While I'm aware that on this show, I primarily cover real-world disturbing...
Everybody, give it up for The Caretaker. I don't know if I'd like that. If I'm sitting in a crowd and I just hear, give it up for The Caretaker, I'd be like, oh, what?
events. I wanted to discuss this piece of art since it perfectly encapsulates the disturbing reality of over 44 million people that are alive today. As you might have guessed by now, the album's an artistic expression of the numerous stages of dementia and how it slowly overtakes the mind, sending it spiraling into a wormhole of forgetfulness, twisted by a reality that they stray further and further from recognizing.
Excuse me, what? This resolution is just beautiful.
The 6-hour album itself starts off ordinary. It's cheery, calm, and invokes a sense of comfort. As the hours pass and it progresses, Leyland subtly morphs not only the overall tone, but each chord progression and tune into something that hardly resembles what you were listening to a mere half-hour earlier. The descriptions from his YouTube video further exemplify the troubles that dementia patients face, too. Stage 1 is described as the first signs of memory loss. It's a stage that's most like a beautiful daydream. the glory of old age and recollection, the last of the great days. Stage 2 encapsulates denial. More efforts made to remember so memories can be more long-form, with a little more deterioration in quality. The overall personal mood is generally lower than the first stage, and at a point before confusion starts setting in.
Okay.
Stage 3 approaches the metaphorical inflection point. It's described as the phase where some of the last coherent memories exist before confusion fully rolls in and the gray mists form and fade away. Finest moments have been remembered, but the musical flow in places is more confused and tangled. As we progress, some singular memories become more disturbed, isolated, broken, and distant. These are the last embers of awareness before we enter the post-awareness stages. At the 2-hour and 8-minute mark, the album takes a stark tonal shift as it begins to exemplify the post-awareness stages, the spot where reality becomes a bleak, confusing mess, and where little seems to make sense. It's described as the point where serenity and the ability to recall singular memories gives way to confusions and horror. It's the beginning of an eventual process where all memories begin to become more fluid through entanglements, repetition, and rupture. Stage 5. More extreme entanglements, repetition, and rupture can give way to calmer moments. The unfamiliar may sound and feel familiar. Time is often spent only in the moment, leading to isolation. In stage
If I heard that at night, I would not leave my bedroom. I'm putting up a chair against my door and I'm hoping for the best when morning comes, if I make it there.
6. One without description.
At this point, I'm just going to assume that I'm going to die. Or that I'm already engulfed in something that I can't get out of. Yeah, I don't think so. That's just...
I lost my great-grandmother to dementia just a few years ago, so this album really resonated with me. As a child, I remember her being full of life, always willing to go the extra mile to evoke a sense of union and love, whether it was through her cooking, her stories, or even her presence at family gatherings. She was always someone that welcomed us with open arms when we go visit her. She lived alone. My great-grandfather had passed when I was very young, so unfortunately, memories of him are vague. But I do remember him as being hardworking and an honest man. Over the years, I didn't fully understand it, but I slowly began to notice that something was off. One year we had gone to visit her, and she didn't quite remember myself or my siblings. It's a strange feeling when a family member addresses you with a respectful but off-putting, "And you are?" line that I'm sure most relatives of dementia patients are accustomed to.
I've never had to deal with that yet in my life. But if a loved one of mine would address me as who are you, I mean, I would remind them who I am, but on the inside I would feel like, damn, this is happening, this is now, and this hurts. It hurts more than I would think. That's harsh. It's rough.
And then I realized what it was. Slowly, through subsequent visits, I began to notice things, like sticky notes, explaining basic tasks like remembering to shut off light switches, to close the front door, to turn off the water, how to flush the toilet. Family photos were labeled, and her once lively personality had slowly faded away. She was trying so hard to be her, but this condition simply wouldn't let her. Bottom line, everywhere at the end of time is a disturbingly bleak looking glass into the human mind. While it isn't creepy footage or a disturbing phone call, this single piece of art is one of the most real, artistic expressions of a human condition that I've ever encountered.
I agree. Now that I read
Life is
through
fragile
this,
and beautiful, and few things have stuck with me more than this. If you have a story about a friend or relative that you'd like to share, feel free to leave it in a comment. While they might have forgotten due to circumstances out of their control, they surely won't be.
if you do have someone who is dealing with dementia, just remember to be patient with them. I know it will be tough, but in the end, it more than likely will mean a lot to them. And I mean, that's all it really will be. You just have to be patient with those people. Here we go. Ah, yes. The perfect ad. Love it. Ugh, that scene is grim.
On the
already.
22nd of May 2011, a devastating EF5 rated tornado ripped through the city of Joplin, Missouri. It lasted around 38 minutes and reached wind speeds of more or less 200 miles per hour. The aftermath photos are
Jeez.
grim. And so too are the videos.
That is crazy.
For the past couple of years now, I've gotten a few recommendations about covering this upload. And to be honest, I never actually sat down and watched the entire thing all the way through. Life and such just got in the way. But I digress. The video is titled First Person Video of Joplin, Missouri Tornado, created by a user named IzelSG and uploaded on the very same day that this tragedy occurred. Their description claims that they took this footage inside of a Fast Trip gas station on East 20th Street. Initially, they hid in the back of the store before taking refuge inside of the storage fridge. While there aren't many visuals within their recording, the audio conveys everything you need to know about being caught in a storm of this magnitude. Have a listen.
Jared.
At least probably 10 or 12.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Is that Diane?
There's probably 18 or 19.
Your chin is getting real.
I haven't. Of course, our power.
Yeah, they said there was one. They said there was one on the ground at 7th and Range Line.
Yeah, but that's the one coming between us. We're on 20 of them.
Man, look at that.
That's why that wind's that.
Yeah. No, they haven't yet. The sirens aren't going.
But yeah, they did.
What?
Yeah, they
Dude,
did. That's as we were coming
Pretty
in
crazy.
here. They
This is
did.
getting real.
Somebody's door.
Go let them in.
Someone in. We need a.
Get inside that. What is that room right there?
When stuff's breaking in the back.
Yeah, I know.
We go in the cooler. Yeah.
Everybody grab this side. Go.
Great.
Get in.
Okay.
I think we're gonna do it.
I'm trying to put less weight on him though.
Ma'am, are you okay? I'm okay.
Who's right here? Is that you right below me?
Jeez. Wow.
Thankfully, everyone in that store was okay that day. The same, unfortunately, couldn't be said about the others that came face to face with it. In total, the storm took 158 lives and left over 1,100 people injured. Considering the fact that the tornado sirens fired off just 20 minutes before this happened, it's safe to assume that time to escape was minuscule.
Yeah, that's a short window.
The incident in Joplin is haunting, and to date, it's cemented into history as the 4th deadliest tornado on record. Hopefully, 10 years later, they've recovered successfully and never, ever have to endure something close to this magnitude ever again.
That's completely insane.
One coffee made.
This again. Night at the coffee stand. Oh boy.
In 2012, a man had killed himself by the name of Israel Keys. He was a serial killer, an arsonist, a bank robber, one of the worst types of people that exist.
Yeah.
The reason for his suicide was because he was caught after a kidnapping and ransom attempt over 18-year-old Samantha Koenig of Anchorage, Alaska. This is his ransom photo proving that she was alive,
Whoa.
to which, in exchange, he had demanded $30,000. Except, in this photo, Samantha Koenig wasn't alive. Let's back up. On the 1st of February 2012, Koenig was working at a local coffee booth. She can be seen on this CCTV footage where everything seems fine. About 2 minutes into it, however, we can observe someone approach the window, to which she reacts with unease. Afterwards, we can see her hastily shut the lights off before carrying out his demands in the moment. After some back and forth, she opens the register and can be seen taking out cash to give to the man. He then demands that she kneels before he enters through the window. And a few minutes later, he proceeds to escort her out of the trailer. After this moment, she was never seen again. As it turned out, her final moments were grim. Later that night, and back at his home, it was reported that he sexually assaulted her, robbed her of everything she had, killed her, and placed her corpse in a shed. Even more bizarrely, the day after, he took off to New Orleans where he went on a 2-week cruise with his family. The entire time, she was left there and was never found.
It's sickening.
2 weeks later, and he comes back from his trip. Her body's still in place, and so Keys dresses her up with makeup and sews her eyes open for a photo with a recent issue of the local newspaper. He did this to invoke the belief that she was still alive, and like we established prior, he had put a $30,000 price tag on her. While this facade was happening, in reality, he had dumped her body in Matanuska Lake, a few miles north of Anchorage. Israel Keys was later caught. However, it wasn't where you'd expect. As it turned out, he'd taken off towards the mainland US, utilizing Koenig's bank card for cash withdrawals as if nothing happened. Because of this, police were able to follow his trail and eventually tracked him down to a Cotton Patch Cafe in Lufkin, Texas. It was the morning of March 12th when Texas Ranger Stephen Rayburn would perform the arrest, and afterwards, Keyes was promptly sent back to Alaska, where he eventually confessed to not only this act, but numerous others. By December of that year, though, he would be found dead in his jail cell. He had slit his wrists and tried to strangle himself, leaving behind his own corpse and various notes and drawings made in blood under his cell bed. To this day, police are still frustrated by this, as with his life went countless questions unanswered. Samantha Koenig was just an ordinary person working her job as we all do. She didn't sign up for this. She didn't provoke anyone, and she sure as hell didn't deserve the fate that she was given. What she thought would be just another night at work had devolved into a surreal night of hell. A night of hell that led to an injustice. And, frustratingly, there's nothing that anyone can do to ever bring her back.
That's disgusting. I was gonna say another ad, but hey, we just blew right through it.
On August 28th of 2009, a California Highway Patrol officer named Mark Saylor was on a drive in a Lexus sedan with his wife Cleofe, brother-in-law Chris, and daughter Mahala. They were heading northbound on California State Route 125 towards Mission Gorge Road in Santee. While the circumstances outlined appeared to be ordinary, little did they know that their vehicle would lead to this venture being their last. At around 7 p.m., a phone call was made to 911. It was from Chris, and he could be heard pleading for help since his car had malfunctioned. Have a listen.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
Oh.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
Yeah, we're in a Lexus.
I'm sorry, your cell phone's cutting out.
We're going north 125,
Mm-hmm.
and our accelerator's stuck.
I'm sorry?
Our accelerator's stuck. We're on 125, and we're in break.
Okay, northbound 125, where are you passing?
We are passing, where are we passing? We're going 120, Mission Gorge. We're in trouble. We can't, there's no break.
Okay.
Gorge, and freeway half mile.
Okay, and you don't have the ability to, like, turn the vehicle off or anything?
We're approaching an intersection. We're approaching an intersection.
Okay.
We're approaching an intersection. Hold on. Pray.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. Oh.
Okay. Hello?
First tonight, we are hearing from the attorneys for both Bob Baker Lexus and the family of Officer Mark Saylor, who was killed along with his family in a fiery crash 1 year ago in Santee.
Today, Toyota announced it had settled the lawsuit with the Saylor family, but 10 News has learned it had...
As a result of this, everyone in that car lost their lives that night.
That fast.
The worst part about it is that the car wasn't even theirs. It was a loaner given to them by a nearby Lexus dealership.
No.
It was reported that the vehicle had reached a top speed of 120 miles per hour before crashing into a Ford Explorer and jumping off an embankment near the Mission Gorge Road intersection at the end of Highway 125. Witnesses claimed that the vehicle was thrown nearly 100 feet into the air before crashing into the ground and bursting into flames.
You're going that fast, it makes sense.
After the incident, it was reported that the Explorer driver had suffered minor injuries and was promptly treated at a nearby hospital. For the family, it was believed that the accelerator had become stuck due to an engineering oversight in Lexus models that included rubber floor mats. After a myriad of other incidents related to this, Lexus eventually rolled out numerous recalls from the span of 2009 to 2011, most of which being related to the accelerator pedal. The sheer amount of issues in affected vehicles are staggering too. On your screen is a list of the recalls they'd sent out, and as you can see, A ton of them are related to the brakes or the accelerator pedal.
Due to floor mat problem, this time for all drivers' side mats. Include brake override. The U.S. mat recall amend to include brake override and increase to 4.2 million vehicles. Toyota vehicles recalled due to faulty accelerator pedals. Okay, and this just goes on for those.
By the end of it, over 5.2 million vehicles were affected, and in hindsight, it's safe to say that anyone driving a Lexus model from 2009 to 2011 were rightfully on edge. The families of the victims eventually filed numerous lawsuits against Toyota, and as a result, they eventually came to a $10 million settlement. No matter how you slice it though, no amount of money can bring someone back from a design failure that they had no control over. They didn't deserve to die that day, and his final 911 call will forever remain cemented into internet history as one of the most disturbing real-world examples of a simple weekend drive that shouldn't have ended the way it had.
That's sad. I remember hearing something like that about a Tesla. No, not to be funny or anything, but yeah, I did something like that about a Tesla. I hate that sound. Would you, could you, on train? Would I, could I, what on a train?
It's 7:23 a.m. on the morning of September 29th of 2016. Passacack Valley Line Train 1614 departs the Spring Valley Station in New York, heading southbound for the Hoboken Station in New Jersey. One way, the trip takes about an hour by train, and on board that morning were an estimated 250 passengers. The ride itself is mostly okay, with nothing seeming awry. Time begins to pass, and train-goers await the day of work ahead of them. At 8:45 a.m. The train's approaching its destination. Being one of the busiest travel hubs in the region, Hoboken Station was lively as expected. The train approaches the terminal, and where it's typically required to stop, it doesn't. It maintains its full speed and crashes through the buffer stop at the end of the rail, causing passengers to be thrown throughout the cabin and forced into a manic frenzy with no clue on how to process it. We just kept going and going, no braking, no nothing, Jamie Weatherhead Saul claims. The moment feels like an eternity, at least until gravity does what it does. The train comes to a halt past the rails and up against the terminal wall, and the normally busy and lively train station is now temporarily declared a disaster area. On this day, 114 passengers are injured and one loses their life. September 29th is now forever associated with a tragedy that should not have happened.
That's crazy. Holy crap, man.
While this event is tragic in and of itself, on the internet and through word of mouth, the mystery surrounding it is merely beginning to take root. Let's back up.
Okay, we're gonna back it on up.
Good morning from the wires of Associated Press and the WKTV.
It's one day prior, the 28th. A central New York TV station named WKTV was broadcast on the usual 6 p.m. lineup. During a commercial break, however, something peculiar would overtake their station. Let's have a look.
Authorities have received hazardous materials warning for the United States effective until September 29th, 02:16 Eastern Daylight Time.
Civil authorities have issued a hazardous materials warning for the United States, effective until September 29th, 2:16 a.m. Would you, could you, on a train? Interesting. Not only did they appear to be hacked, but of all things, it referenced a Dr. Seuss quote about a train. And the timing is striking. Immediately after, WKTV puts out numerous statements. From their Twitter. If you were watching our 6 p.m. newscast, you saw a hazardous materials warning message. There is no such warning. It was a technical error. And later that night, from their website. If you were watching our newscast around 6:17 p.m. or at 10:38 p.m., you may have seen a hazardous materials warning crawl across your screen. There is no such warning. The message was an automated test which was not intended for public display. This message originated from FEMA as a test and had the national location code in it. Tests should not have that code as it's automatically retransmitted. We've contacted the New York State Broadcasters Association, who administers the emergency alert system in New York. We're working with FEMA to resolve this. Our apologies for the confusion this may have caused. In total, there wasn't one, but 2 of these alerts. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find footage of them separately. However, it's safe to assume that they were either the exact same or very similar. Interestingly, if we pick apart their wording, WKTV is mostly pinning the blame on FEMA, the Government Disaster Relief Program. An interesting claim, but perhaps that's all it was. One day later, and the train crash occurs. WKTV releases yet another statement containing an update. FEMA replied that they did not send this out. They'll launch a full investigation into how their codes were hacked. WKTV seems to be the only target of this hack. For now, we've disabled the codes in our decoder that trigger this alert. If there's a real national alert, we'll still receive it from the local radio stations we're assigned to monitor. WKTV will cooperate fully with FEMA, providing information about our hardware, software, and internet access, and will provide log files from our devices. This information will be helpful to FEMA to track down the source of this hack. Oddly, around the same time that this was happening, other videos began to crop up showing strange alerts that had happened in places around the United States.
Pardon me again.
While these are indeed strange and do hint at the possibility of a system-wide hack, the incident that occurred on WKTV was the only one of its kind to include this unusual Dr. Seuss quote. Unfortunately though, to this day, the origin and motive of why this happened or who did it has remained unsolved. Of all the entries I've covered thus far on Disturbing Things, this is one of the most bewildering. Understandably, since this occurred, conspiracy theories have cropped up all over the internet, theorizing on the potential of the train operator being complicit and entertaining the idea that the crash was somehow planned by some external party. While I personally don't subscribe to these, what I do find highly unusual is the timing, and I don't think I'll ever be able to shake that.
Yeah, the timing is crazy of that.
An audible simulation, Mother Nature's wrath, a nightmarish abduction, a disturbing plea for help, and an eerie broadcast alert. The world can be a depressing, creepy, and disturbing place, and tonight's topics encapsulate that.
Yeah. Press yes. We going into some analog horror stuff? Baby monitor. Showed a child in that one. Thank you for that. Thank you.
It's the 23rd of February, 2017. A criminal trespassing incident occurs in Billings Heights, Montana. Case number 17.12420. The local police department takes to Facebook soon after to ask for the public's help in tracking down this mysterious individual that, considering what he'd done, is every parent's worst nightmare. The Billings Police Department is asking for the public to be aware of an incident that took place last week in the Billings Heights. On the above date and time, officers responded to a possible burglary in progress. The female resident reported to officers that she observed a male subject in her infant daughter's bedroom on the baby monitor. The victim said she immediately went to her daughter's bedroom, removed her daughter, and left the residence. When officers arrived, the residence and neighborhood were searched, but the suspect was not located. The victim said that the baby monitor is synced to her cell phone. The baby monitor is motion activated and took the attached photo of the suspect, which alerted her cell phone. And that photo is this one.
Yo, that's weird.
To date, this mysterious intruder has never been found.
Looks like he's a tattoo on his arm and stuff like that. It's whack.
The world can be a depressing, creepy, and disturbing place.
This is true.
And tonight's topics encapsulated that. You and I just dove into 6 disturbing things from around the internet. I hope you all enjoyed this, and if you have any further submissions for this series, feel free to submit them to the show's inbox at dtfaisubmissions@gmail.com. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon. I love you all. And good night.
And good night. Created with love by Nextbill. That's a good song. That's... wow. Well, that does it for Volume 12. I guess we'll be moving on to 13 here fairly soon. Thank you guys for staying tuned for all of this stuff that I've been posting. It means a lot. Thank you for all the new subscribers and old subscribers and all the likes and stuff. It really means a lot. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace!